Hey you guys, it's April. I hope that you are having a great day. So I have a special treat for you today. I have an interview with Victoria from Lemons N Lyme. Yay! When I was first diagnosed with Lyme disease, Victoria was one of the first people I met, and I felt so comforted just hearing her story and really learning everything that she knows about Lyme disease. She has a vast knowledge of Lyme disease and the different treatments that you can try, and her story is completely different than mine. That's the one thing about Lyme disease is that unlike a cold, everybody has different symptoms and a different experience. So I hope that you'll check out her interview. Please hang out until the end of the video where I talk about part 2 of the video, which is actually my favorite. In addition, I will tell you where you can find her. All right, enjoy.
So I was diagnosed with Lyme disease almost exactly 5 years ago, pretty much to the day. I got really sick in college in February of 2012, and I went home to see my integrative physician in March of 2012 over spring break, and that's where I got my Lyme disease diagnosis. I had had health issues most of my life growing up. I really remember a shift around age 7. I'm 26 now for reference. And I grew up with a lot of health issues, and I would go to doctors for headaches and digestive issues and fatigue. I had really bad fatigue, and all my tests were fine. No one could tell me that anything was wrong, so we just assumed nothing was wrong. I knew deep down something was wrong, but my tests were fine, so I was like, okay, well, no one's listening to me. I guess I'm, normal. So it took a long time, from 7 to age 21 basically, to get diagnosed. It's very possible I've had Lyme all of my life, but age 7 is really where I remember the shift. I grew up on the East Coast. I remember a lot of tick bites. We didn't know about Lyme. A lot of them were in my hair, so who knows if I had a rash or not. I did deal with eczema as a child. Could be related, maybe not. So that's kind of my initial Lyme story and how long I've been dealing with it. But the past 5 years have definitely been the hardest, and when I've been the most sick. So I've had a majority of the symptoms that are related to Lyme. Actually, if you go to my blog, I have a page where every symptom I've ever had is listed. Currently, my main symptoms are really intense overall fatigue, like chronic fatigue syndrome, digestive issues, really poor digestion. I don't absorb my nutrients. My gut is kind of a wreck. And then cognitive issues and head stuff. So headaches, brain fog, forgetfulness, just feeling really slow, and overwhelmed. I deal with a lot of anxiety, depression, so mood stuff. So those are kind of the 5 big ones. Fatigue, headaches, digestive issues, brain fog, and mood issues. I've tried a lot of different things for treating Lyme. The first thing I did when I got sick was antibiotics because I saw a doctor on the East Coast. That's all I knew. I did oral antibiotics for 1.5 years before I got a PICC line placed in my arm. You can see the scar a little bit, maybe. And I did IV antibiotics, still taking oral, for 7 months. I also had co-infections, mainly Babesia and Bartonella. And I did antimalarials, a lot of antimalarials for the Babesia. I also ended up doing antifungals through my PICC line because I dealt with mold issues. I did a heavy metal cleanse. Then I was so done with antibiotics and prescription drugs because my body was just ravaged from all of that, and especially my gut. And so I switched to the Cowden protocol, which is an herbal protocol. It was extremely helpful, I believe. It's hard to say because I came off the antibiotics and then I started Cowden, and so I think part of it was my body was just rebuilding after all the antibiotics, which helped a lot, but I think the Cowden also did a lot of work. After that, I kind of just stopped treatment after I did the 9 months of Cowden because I thought I would just continue to get better. I didn't know a ton about Lyme then, as much as I know now, and I was kind of tired of treating and wanted to get my life on track again. And that's when I crashed. And so since then, I've tried a lot of alternative stuff. I'm doing bee venom therapy, which I highly recommend, although it's a long, slow process. I do ozone IVs. I have a port in my chest now. You can see that right there. So I do ozone IVs along with detoxification IVs like alpha lipoic acid, curcumin for inflammation, and biofunbustine. Glutathione for detoxification. I have done parasite cleanses. I'm doing a heavy metal cleanse again because that's been a big issue. Mercury's been a big issue. Like I said before, did a ton of mold treatment, which was really helpful, but wasn't the key, unfortunately. What else have I done? I see both my Lyme doctor, who does a lot of the alternative stuff, as these alternative IVs, as well as a chiropractor who's an applied kinesiologist. So he muscle tests all of my supplements and different treatments to see what infections I may be dealing with and what I may need to be doing. So I've done parasite cleanses with him. I'm doing the heavy metal cleanse with him. And he tests for herbs. So I've done some of the Booner protocol herbs, currently on Japanese knotweed. That's been the big one that comes up kind of every other month. I take that, which has been helpful. I think the Booner herbs are one of the most helpful protocols for like an alternative non-antibiotic protocol. So those are the main things I've tried and done for a treatment with Lyme. It's been pretty extensive. I know there's a lot of different treatments out there. I do a ton of detoxing, so ozone saunas, far infrared saunas, detox baths, coffee enemas, green juices, things like that. I think detoxing is really important. And diet, I consider that part of my treatment and a treatment itself because I work on healing my gut and building my immune system and feeding my body the nutrients it needs to fight these infections. So diet and detoxing are two other big things that have been a huge part of my protocol. It's been really frustrating and hard to answer the question what treatment has been the most effective because my journey's been so up and down. I think the Cowden protocol was really helpful, but I don't see that as the end-all be-all. It seems like when you do Cowden, you then need to either have a maintenance dose of that or find a maintenance protocol after you've finished it, which was the mistake I made, and now I kind of don't want to go back on it because it's a lot to keep track of with all the herbs and tinctures that you have to take. I think that diet and detox, like if you want something basic, diet and detox are the most important and most helpful. I don't know where I'd be without detoxing. I can feel myself getting toxic. Like if I travel and I don't get to detox and I'm around, other people and viruses on a plane and picking things up, and I come home and I just detox hardcore for a day, I feel better already. So I really think that that's been a beneficial part of my protocol. In the last question I just answered, named a few things that I do. I also have a whole post on my blog. Maybe April can link to that, or you guys can go check it out. It's called like All About Detoxing, and I list every detox method that I have tried or know about and find useful and helpful. And then the other thing is diet. I don't know where I'd be without diet because diet's super important. If you're eating sugar and inflammatory foods and all of that fun stuff that tastes delicious, you're feeding the bugs, you're feeding infection, you're feeding viruses, and you're causing inflammation in your system. Your gut is it's just such an important piece of the puzzle. That's where you absorb your nutrients. Your body needs those nutrients to stay strong and fight infection. I eat a paleo style diet. I know that April is vegan. I've tried that before. It didn't work for me. If it works for you, great. You gotta find the diet that works for you, but I definitely advise cutting out inflammatory foods and eating really basic whole foods, whether you're vegan or paleo. Don't buy the processed stuff. Buy your vegetables and cook them. Buy your meat or your beans and cook them from scratch. Don't buy canned stuff with a bunch of additives and flavorings. So, kind of a long answer there, but diet and detoxing I think are the two biggest, most important things, especially diet. And in terms of like a specific treatment, I really support the Buna protocol. Even though I've never really done his full protocol, I think his herbs are very powerful and very helpful. And if you're looking for something that's cheaper and that you don't have to go to a doctor for, you can check out his website, and he has just a wealth of knowledge. His books are a wealth of knowledge, and you can get those herbs online pretty easily and at an affordable cost. So that would be my other suggestion.
All right, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed that and that maybe you learned something new about Lyme disease. If you want to follow Victoria, make sure to check her out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and her blog. I'll post links below, but she can be found at Lemons N Lyme. Also, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you get part 2 of this interview before anyone else. Part 2 is actually kind of my favorite because you see a more vulnerable side of Victoria and hear more about what having Lyme disease is really like. All right, you guys, have a great day, and we will see you next time. Bye.